Here's the brutal truth nobody tells you about retirement. Most people mess up their money in the first 5 years, and by the time they realize it, it's already too late to fix. Right now, there are thousands of retired people who thought they had enough money saved up, only to realize 10 or 15 years later that they're running dangerously low. And the worst part? Most of these problems could have been avoided with just a few simple changes to how they handled their money from day one. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make sure your retirement money lasts as long as you do. And trust me, this is information you absolutely need to know before you make any big financial decisions. Before we dive in, please hit the like button. It helps this video reach more retirees who need it. And let me know where you're watching from in the comments. It's great to see retirees from around the world planning for a secure retirement. Now, let's begin. So what's the real problem here? Why do so many people run out of money in retirement even when they thought they saved enough? Think about it like this. You spend 30, 40, maybe even 50 years putting money away. You watch your accounts grow, you feel good about the numbers, then retirement hits and suddenly everything changes. You're not adding money anymore, you're taking it out. And this is where people panic and start making mistakes. The first big problem is that most people have no idea how much they can actually take out each year without running their accounts into the ground. They just guess, they pull out whatever feels right, and that's dangerous because if you take out too much too early, you could run out of money when you're 75 or 80, and at that point, going back to work isn't really an option anymore. The second problem is that people forget about inflation. $1,000 today isn't going to buy you the same amount of stuff 20 years from now. Your money loses buying power over time. So even if you're being careful with how much you spend, inflation is eating away at your savings in the background. The third problem, and this one catches almost everyone off guard, is healthcare costs. When you're younger, maybe you spend a few $100s a year on doctor visits and medicine, but as you get older, those costs explode. We're talking thousands and thousands of dollars every single year, and if you end up needing long-term care or nursing home services, that can drain your accounts faster than almost anything else. And then there's the lifestyle problem. A lot of people retire and think they're going to spend less money because they're not working anymore. No more gas for the commute, no more work clothes, no more eating out for lunch every day. But here's what actually happens. You have way more free time, and that free time costs money. You want to travel, you want to do hobbies, you want to see your grandkids more often. All of that adds up fast. So you've got all these things working against you, and if you don't have a solid plan, your money disappears quicker than you ever imagined. Let me break down the strategies that actually work for making your money last. First up, let's talk about the 4% rule. This is probably the most famous retirement withdrawal strategy out there, and for good reason. The basic idea is this. In your first year of retirement, you take out 4% of your total retirement savings. Then every year after that, you take out that same amount but adjusted for inflation. So let's say you retire with $500,000 saved up. 4% of that is $20,000. That's what you'd take out in year one. Then in year two, if inflation was 3%, you'd take out $20,600. Year three, you adjust again based on inflation, and so on. The reason this rule became so popular is because studies showed that if you follow it, your money has a really good chance of lasting at least 30 years. That's long enough for most people's retirement. But here's the catch. It's not perfect. If the stock market crashes right when you retire, or if you live longer than 30 years, or if inflation goes crazy, the 4% rule might not be enough to protect you. That's why some financial experts now say you should use a more flexible approach. Instead of sticking to exactly 4% no matter what, you adjust based on how your investments are doing. If your accounts are growing and doing well, maybe you can take out a little more. If the market tanks and your accounts drop, you tighten your belt and take out less for a while. This brings us to another strategy called the bucket approach, and I really like this one because it's easy to understand and it helps you sleep better at night. Here's how it works. You divide your retirement money into 3 different buckets based on when you're going to need it. Bucket 1 is your short-term money. This is cash and super safe investments that you're going to use in the next 1 to 3 years. You keep this money somewhere stable where it's not going to lose value, even if it's not growing much either. The whole point is that you know for sure it'll be there when you need it. Bucket 2 is your medium-term money. This is for years 3 through 10 of your retirement. You can invest this money a little more aggressively than Bucket 1, maybe in bonds or balanced funds. It has time to recover if the market dips, but it's still relatively safe. Bucket 3 is your long-term money. This is for year 10 and beyond. This money can be invested in stocks and other things that might go up and down a lot in the short term, but historically grow a lot over the long run. By the time you actually need this money, it's had years and years to grow. The beautiful thing about this bucket strategy is that when the stock market crashes, you don't panic. You're not selling your stocks at a loss to pay your bills. You've got buckets 1 and 2 sitting there ready to use while you wait for bucket 3 to recover. Now let's talk about Social Security, because this is where a lot of people leave serious money on the table. You can start taking Social Security as early as 62, but here's the thing. The longer you wait, the more money you get each month. If you take it at 62, you get a reduced amount. If you wait until your full retirement age, which is somewhere between 66 and 67, depending on when you were born, you get the full amount. And if you wait all the way until 70, you get even more. We're talking about a difference of thousands of dollars per year for the rest of your life. So the question becomes, should you take it early or wait? And the answer depends on your situation. If you're not healthy and don't expect to live a long time, taking it early might make sense. If you're still working and don't need the money yet, waiting can pay off big time. If you're married, it gets even more complicated because you need to think about survivor benefits and how to maximize the total money both of you will get over your lifetimes.
A lot of people don't realize that when one spouse dies, the surviving spouse only gets the higher of the two Social Security payments, not both. So if you and your spouse are both getting Social Security and one of you passes away, the household income drops. This is why planning your Social Security strategy as a couple is so important. Let's move on to budgeting in retirement, because this is where things get real. You need to separate your expenses into two categories: needs and wants. Your needs are things like housing, food, utilities, insurance, and medicine. These are things you have to pay for no matter what. Your wants are things like travel, entertainment, eating out, gifts, and hobbies. These are nice to have, but you could cut them if you had to. The goal is to make sure your guaranteed income sources like Social Security and any pensions cover all of your needs. That way, even if your investments tank, you can still keep the lights on and food on the table. Then, you use your investment withdrawals to cover your wants. Here's a mistake I see all the time. People retire and immediately start spending more money than they did when they were working. They've been looking forward to retirement for so long that they go overboard. They buy a new RV, they book expensive trips, they help out their kids and grandkids financially, and before they know it, they've burned through way more money than they planned. The first few years of retirement are critical. If you spend too much during this honeymoon phase, you're setting yourself up for problems later. A better approach is to start with a conservative budget and then see how things go. If your money is doing well after a few years, you can always spend more, but if you spend too much early on, you can't go back and undo it. Another budgeting tip: plan for your spending to change over time. Most people actually spend less money as they get older. In your 60s and early 70s, you might travel a lot and stay active, but by your late 70s and 80s, you naturally slow down and don't spend as much on entertainment and travel. However, your healthcare costs go up to replace those savings, so your total spending might stay about the same, but the categories shift. Now, I need to talk about the mistakes that destroy retirement accounts, because if you can avoid these, you're already ahead of most people. Mistake number 1, selling investments when the market drops. This is the biggest account killer out there. The market crashes, people freak out, and they sell everything to stop the bleeding. But here's what they don't realize. When you sell during a crash, you lock in those losses forever. If you had just held on and waited for the market to recover, your accounts would have bounced back. Every major market crash in history has eventually recovered, every single one. But the people who sold at the bottom never got that recovery. Mistake number 2, not adjusting your plan when life changes. Maybe you plan to spend a certain amount each year, but then you have a major health issue that costs way more than expected. Or maybe one of your kids goes through a divorce and needs financial help. Life throws curveballs, and your retirement plan needs to be flexible enough to handle them. You should be reviewing your plan at least once a year and making adjustments as needed. Mistake number 3, ignoring taxes. A lot of people don't realize that the money they take out of their retirement accounts is taxable. If all your money is in traditional IRAs or 401ks, every dollar you withdraw gets added to your income and taxed. This can push you into a higher tax bracket and even cause your Social Security to be taxed more. A smarter approach is to have money in different types of accounts, some in traditional retirement accounts, some in Roth accounts where withdrawals are tax-free, and some in regular taxable accounts. This gives you flexibility to manage your taxes each year. Mistake number 4, helping family members too much. Look, I get it. You want to help your kids or grandkids, but you cannot sacrifice your own financial security to help them. If you run out of money, you become a burden on them anyway. It's like the airplane oxygen mask rule. Put yours on first before helping others. Make sure your own retirement is solid before you start giving money away. Mistake number 5, paying too much in fees. Investment fees might seem small, but they add up to huge amounts over time. If you're paying 1 or 2% per year in fees, that could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over a 30-year retirement. Look for low-cost index funds and avoid investments with high expense ratios or commission fees. Here's the absolute most important thing you need to understand about making your retirement money last. It's not about having a perfect plan from day one. It's about having a flexible plan that you actually stick to and adjust as you go. The people who run out of money in retirement aren't the ones who started with too little. They're the ones who didn't pay attention, didn't adjust, and made emotional decisions based on fear or excitement instead of logic. The people whose money lasts are the ones who set up a reasonable withdrawal rate, diversify their income sources, kept their spending under control, and stayed calm when the market got scary. You don't need to be a financial genius to make this work. You just need to be disciplined and willing to make small adjustments along the way. Check your accounts regularly. Know where your money is going. Don't panic when things get rocky, and most importantly, don't be afraid to ask for help from a financial advisor if you need it. Let me wrap this up with the key points you need to remember. Start with a safe withdrawal rate around 4%, but be willing to adjust it based on how your investments perform and what's happening in your life. Use the bucket strategy to make sure you always have safe money available for the next few years while letting your long-term money grow. Think carefully about when to take Social Security, because that decision affects you for the rest of your life. Create a budget that covers your needs with guaranteed income and uses investment withdrawals for wants. Avoid the big mistakes. Don't sell when the market drops. Keep your plan flexible. Manage your taxes. Don't sacrifice your security for others, and watch out for high fees. Most importantly, remember that running out of money in retirement isn't something that just happens to you. It's the result of specific decisions and actions. Make smart decisions, take the right actions, and your money will be there when you need it. This isn't about living scared or never enjoying your retirement. It's about being smart so you can actually relax and enjoy these years without constantly worrying about money. You worked hard to save this money. Now make sure it works hard for you. If this helped, hit like, drop a comment with your biggest retirement question, and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.